If you've not visited this part of the county, you really must come and have a look. If you've been out to Whixall Moss or any of the other places, they're magical places, which might appear as some sort of rural, natural idyll, but actually it's a jungle out there, as Octavia's been finding out.
I've come to Shropshire, on the border between England and Wales, to visit the Fens, Whixall and Betisfield Mosses National Nature Reserve, the third largest lowland raised bog in the UK and a mecca for wildlife.
Everywhere I look, there are creatures zooming over my head or crawling through the undergrowth. The whole place is just buzzing with life. I'm clearly in a place that is very special and has an abundance of wildlife.
This rare natural gem is over 2,000 acres in size, so big that it can be seen from space.
Whixall Moss started life over 10,000 years ago. Back then it was under a mile of ice, and as the glacier retreated, it gouged huge holes in the landscape known as kettle holes. These subsequently filled with water and formed the wetland mosaic we can see here today.
Over time, layers of moss, pickled in the acidic water, slowly developed into the raised peat domes that we can see today.
Life here on the mosses is tough, not least because of the conditions. The soil and water are very acidic, and there's a distinct lack of nutrients. In fact, it's bred some pretty tough creatures. I've come to find my 5 top predators of the meres and mosses.
Number 5 on my top predator list is a creature hard to track down.
Despite being relatively widespread throughout Europe, the common adder's ability to detect vibrations through the ground and its unique camouflage has made it somewhat of an elusive species.
Adders are the only venomous snake native to Britain and have a highly developed venom injecting mechanism. So if I were a small mammal, bird or amphibian here on the mosses, I'd be very wary.
For our 4th top predator, we now need to turn to the skies, because this next creature is an aerial acrobat and strikes its prey from above.
About the size of a kestrel, hobbies usually nest in old roosts of crows, in mature hedges or on the edge of spinneys, where they can keep a beady eye on intruders.
These stunning birds are the red arrows of the avian world. Their powerful acceleration and high-speed agility allows them to take their prey on the wing. Now, they are beautiful birds, but they're also very hard to spot. So we're going to have to be very lucky to spot one today.
And as luck would have it, for the briefest of seconds, we managed to capture our first glimpse of a meres and mosses hobby.
Oh, look, there he goes. Blimey, he's quick.
Even at this distance, you can see his long pointed wings and sickle-like shape. This gives him excellent aerodynamics, which allows him to outmaneuver his prey.
With predators like these out here on the moss, there's really nowhere safe to hide.
Our next deadly creature is much smaller than the last, but don't let its size mislead you. This crafty arachnid has adapted to the wet habitat of the mosses by literally walking on water.
Now, I've got to get a bit up close and personal to our next top predator, and it's lucky I'm not scared of spiders, because the aptly named Jesus or raft spider is a master of its environment and one of the meres and mosses' most deadly predators.
The raft spider is Britain's largest spider, and with an average body size of over 2 centimetres and a leg span of 7 centimetres, they can easily take down insects, tadpoles and even small fish. These clever spiders rely on the surface tension of the water, created by lots of tiny leg hairs, in order to skim gracefully over the surface of the waterways here on the mosses. These fearsome eight-legged carnivores sit around the edges of the swamps on floating vegetation, with their front legs resting on the water's surface. As soon as they detect vibrations of potential prey, they race out onto the water and chase down their victim.
Now, with all these deadly spiders about, I'm getting out of here.
It's not all fast-paced attacks and thrilling chases here on the mosses though. There's one predator that uses stealth rather than speed to catch its prey. The Meres and Mosses Reserve is home to 3 species of sundew, but only one species, the round-leaved sundew, grows at Whixall Moss. Instead of taking in all of its nutrients from the soil, this clever plant has developed a taste for insects. Up close, the round-leaved sundew looks like it's from a science fiction film. On each of its reddish leaves there are hair-like tendrils which are tipped with globules of sticky dew. These glistening droplets lure in passing insects, and once stuck, more often than not, there's no escape. The last of our top 5 predators is not technically an inhabitant of the Meres and Mosses, but over the last few hundred years, this significant creature has had the biggest influence on the area. The last predator on my list is of course humans. And when we first discovered the valuable resources that the raised bog provides, we exploited it to its fullest extent and caused a significant reduction in this rare habitat nationwide. The raised bog is predominantly made up of peat, a result of decomposed and compacted plant residues, and it's this energy-rich resource that was greatly sought after. Over the years, peat has had many uses, initially as a fuel for burning in people's homes, but then it was starting to be cut commercially for compost, and this is when we saw a dramatic decrease in peat bogs nationwide. Whixall moss is an extremely rare survivor. However, most mosses in the UK have already been fully drained for agriculture or have developed into forest. Peat bogs are carbon sinks, which is why they are so valuable as a fuel, and globally they contain more locked up carbon than all of the Earth's forests. Cutting the peat releases this carbon into the atmosphere and speeds up the damaging effects of climate change, whereas restored bogs reabsorb the carbon.
Humans once were a threat to this valuable ecosystem, but over the last 20 years, the Fens, Whixall and Bettesfield Mosses National Nature Reserve has been undergoing extensive restoration works. Hopefully, like our other 4 top predators, humans will start to live in harmony with this spectacular habitat and hopefully protect it for thousands of years to come.